Voices of Grace is a presentation of Grace Hill Settlement House with RareGem Productions, proudly presenting, promoting, and producing positive programs. Learn more at OneRareGem.com. That's OneRaregem.com.
We want to share with our listeners and with St. Louis the inspirational and true stories of people who have found their way by the grace of God, by the grace of seeking help, having a hand to hold. We want people to know that nobody gets where they are without somebody walking with them. And that's who we are.
These are the Voices of Grace.
Did you know Uncle Sam may want to give you more than $6,000? I'm Russ Signorino with the Gateway EITC. Find out if you qualify for free tax prep and the location nearest you. Call us at 314-539-4062. Why pay to get your taxes done?
RareGem Productions proudly presenting the positive. You can't find a better home at a better price. Introducing Beyond Housing, affordable quality homes. If you have ever dreamed of owning your own home, we can help make your dream a reality. 6 ways that we can help you own a home. 1, if you've ever dreamed of owning a home but thought you couldn't qualify, no one will work harder or have more ways to help you own an affordable quality home. 2, you can't find a better home at a better price that fits your monthly budget. 3, you can own a brand new home or like new, completely rehabbed home. 4, we guarantee to buy back your home if you need to sell it. 5, built to last so you can pass the home on to your children. 6, high quality, new construction. Join us for our open house Saturday, March 1st from 1 to 4 p.m. at 4011 Beechwood Avenue in Pine Lawn. And give Yvette a call at 314-269-3391. 314-269-3391 to buy an affordable quality home of your own. Beyond Housing, affordable quality homes.
I'm Laura Kozak. I'm Vice President for Development at Grace Hill. What is grace? Grace is compassion. Grace is mercy. Grace is joyfulness. Grace is giving a helping hand and caring about our community. Grace is peace. Grace is love. Grace is happiness. Being reliable. Grace is energetic, caring. Grace is living to see a new day. Grace is able to sustain in anything you can dream of and anything that comes your way.
These are the Voices of Grace. Hello and good day. I'm Jade Harrell. Very excited to bring to our audiences Voices of Grace, the first season of Voices of Grace, presentation of Grace Hill Settlement House. And here to kick off Voices of Grace is the CEO of Grace Hill, Roderick Jones. Hello to you and good day.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
You were recently a featured speaker at the TEDx conference. Bravo, bravo. Some powerful encouragement and insight on the idea of poverty, education, and empowerment of our community. And the subject in both the St. Louis American and the Business Journal for your controversial, as some might say, beliefs on poverty in today's world. Well, you're here to spread the word that no one should fear for their life during their commute to school, as illustrated so vividly in a recent New York Times article, and that everyone holds some responsibility for these occurrences. So the very thing we're facing, we're creating, I hear in that we all have something to do with each and every one of us and our views on our potential. Tell us about grace and how Voices of Grace is going to be that response.
Yeah, grace, what's so phenomenal about grace, and it's part of our namesake, is it really begs a question of, do we really need to qualify whether somebody deserves something? And so we thought about Voices of Grace from the standpoint of promoting the notion to the rest of society that each and every person has value, and oftentimes our salvation and our greatest gifts are in the potential of people. And so when we can further that without having to qualify who people are, then we get the best result out of this life.
We most certainly do. Tell me about the work that Grace Hill is doing along that line.
Yeah, so we are working in some of the most challenging communities where people are often marginalized, not necessarily by intent, but because they don't have, because they're not connected. And we have taken a position that a part of resewing the tattered edges of the American society and the frayed centers is about how we work in neighborhoods, holding the belief dear that each and every person there is valuable to who we are, and working with comprehensive community coordinated efforts, bringing together key partners to deal with real comprehensive issues.
Tell me how you're finding success in that and why it's working.
Yeah, we've found phenomenal success, particularly in North City, in being able to bring together key partners, some of our partners, Connections to Success and St. Louis Community Credit Union and Gateway 180, and being able to lay our services together in a way that move people forward, that recognizes their lived experience. One of the greatest examples of that is we had very close to our campus a payday lender whose loans were anywhere from 400 to 700% interest. And so the credit union worked with us to design products that allowed them to buy back those loans and give people a fresh start.
How about that?
Yeah. And so those successes are tremendous because it's not about giving people things, but it's allowing them to participate.
And that's an original initiative. Yep. I don't know that I've ever heard of anything like that before, but it's created specifically for the people we serve and in that particular area. You're able to do this. You have strategic partners that believe in that too. And basically you're shattering the myths that it can be done. How can we see that success happen and repeat it? And can we expect that?
I think as we move forward in human service delivery and community renewal and economic development in communities, making sure that everybody's well, I think that this is the pathway we're all going to have to go down. It's how do we take the limited resources we have and join them with someone else's to get the very best impact. And that begs a different question of, not did we get something for our money, but did we get the best result for the money we spent?
How is it that we're able to see that working here in St. Louis?
Well, I think from our heritage as a settlement house, since 1889, settlement houses have been doing this work in America. And I think what we find is that the population is somewhat different than the immigrants that used to come, but the methodology is still good.
Right. And the methodology is, and you're celebrating 110 years. So that methodology is sound. It's still good. What worked then is working now. What is it?
Yeah. So we work on a self-help tradition where we build up people so that they help themselves and help their community. They own that set of transitions, and we just facilitate building their strength and capacity.
That's nice. Send out an invitation for Voices of Grace and the encouragement to the community that will be listening.
Yeah, we ask that people would join us and listen and send us your ideas. And when you hear the philosophy, if you have another point of view, give that to us. We want to make sure that our thinking is both tried and tested.
And the encouragement for the community that's listening in each of their individual lives, what would you say?
I think there's two messages I think worth sharing.
All right, share.
Yeah, one is to remember that our greatest prize is gifted to us in the form of people. And oftentimes we're looking for miracles and blue lights, but it comes through people. And so we have to be on guard and look out and believe in the potential of people. Yeah. And the other is that there's nobody else to pass on the wellness of our nation and our communities. It is us. It is our responsibility. It's our obligation. And there is no victimless crime. And so there's no standing by and expecting someone else will, because we all share the burden and the cost of doing nothing. I can remember when I went off to college and came back home. I remember one day we grew up in public housing in New York City, and I can remember sitting in a car talking to my mother parked outside of our building. In public housing, if you can imagine the housing projects you had here in North City, New York City is full of those in the multitudes. And I remember watching a kid throwing bricks off of the building 8 stories down. And I remember saying to my mother, I'm going to get out and go up to the roof and bring that kid down so that he stops doing it. And I remember my mother saying, as she got older, don't go messing with people, getting involved. And I remember, just as she concluded, a brick smashed through somebody's window, through the front of their window, and shattered their front window. And I said to my mother, I remember her being frazzled and beginning to cry, saying, that person probably can't afford to replace the window. And I said, the time to do something is not now, and feeling bad is not enough. That could have been prevented, but we stood by and did nothing. And so now, what? And so for every person that is victimized, that chooses to leave, then what do you have? You have desolate communities, you have abandoned places, you have disinvested spaces. And it's all of us who will pay for that. there's a municipal infrastructure to keep. There's, it still has to have water. There still has to be lights. There still has to be policemen, sometimes in communities where there's hardly people left. And so, it seems like nothing, but, it's just like Walmart. If somebody steals an apple, they're not going to eat the loss. They're going to pass it on to the next series of customers.
That's right. So then what can any of us do? We look to great organizations like yours, or we expect other organizations that have that as a focus. Community building, empowerment, engagement. And everybody has an arm. There's so many arms of this. But really getting to each situation.
Yeah.
What can any of us do?
Yeah, I think every person has to think about the giftings and talents that they have. And it's not about money. Most people think it's about the check you send to a not-for-profit. It's not the money. How many times have you called to say, is there a parent who I can teach how to build a regimen in their household? Is there a kid at a school that I can go in and read to? Is there an issue that I recognize that poor people won't have a voice on, that I have influence over? And so there's a place for all of us, and it's not about money. Money doesn't fix everything. Mm-hmm. It's about contributing your talent and recognizing that you didn't get it all on your own, and that no amount of brilliance alone makes people great.
How do we overcome fear in doing so? Someone might be afraid to make that initial appointment, engagement, conversation, outreach.
I think you overcome fear with proper perspective. I had a mentee one time who said to me, I just can't go and ask people to give money to a cause. I don't know how you do it. I said, the way you do it is you ask yourself, if these were my kids and I were responsible for them, what wouldn't I do to get bread for them? And so if we own our society and we own the well-being of one another, it'd be just like our own kids. What would you not do for your kids to do well?
Voices of Grace is coming to you on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. on Hallelujah 1600 iHeartRadio and the all-new Let's Get It Together iHeart channel being offered nationwide, worldwide. Grace Hill Settlement House is providing a link to lessen the gaps between poverty, middle and upper class Americans. And this year alone, Grace Hill has found homes for the homeless, brought a female entrepreneur from running a standard business to $1 million company, and they continue to provide essential resources to improve the lives of families across St. Louis. This year is Grace Hill's 110-year anniversary of doing great things, and the upcoming year will be even better. We have several events to share with listeners during the morning show and even more lives to change. So join us, enjoy, and listen to Voices of Grace. Thank you, Mr. Roderick Jones, CEO of Grace Hill Settlement House in St. Louis. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
These are the Voices of Grace. Neighbors helping neighbors since 1903. Visit gracehill.org to learn of the multitude of resources and services that Grace Hill Settlement House offers, which includes early childhood, youth and family supports, aging and special needs, community and economic development. If you have more questions about the program, need help, or want to connect with the resources over the phone, please call the message box at 314-333-8369, 314-333-8369, or send an email to info@oneRareGem.com. That's info@ONERAREGEM.com. Hear, feel, come to know, and join in the Voices of Grace.
Grace is able to sustain in anything you can dream of and anything that comes your way.
Voices of Grace is another positive production of RareGem Productions.
Did you make $52,000 or less last year? If so, you could be eligible for the Earned Income Tax Credit. Hi, I'm Russ Signorino with Gateway EITC. Fast, friendly, and free tax preparation services are available near you. To find out if you qualify for free tax prep, call 314-539-4062. Again, that's 314-539-4062. Why pay to get your taxes done when you can get them done for free? It's your money. You earned it. Call us now to learn more.
RareGem Productions proudly presenting the positive. You can't find a better home at a better price. Introducing Beyond Housing, affordable quality homes. If you have ever dreamed of owning your own home, we can help make your dream a reality. 6 ways that we can help you own a home. 1, if you've ever dreamed of owning a home but thought you couldn't qualify, no one will work harder or have more ways to help you own an affordable quality home. 2, you can't find a better home at a better price that fits your monthly budget. 3, you can own a brand new home or like new, completely rehabbed home. 4, we guarantee to buy back your home if you need to sell it. 5, built to last so you can pass the home on to your children. 6, high quality, new construction. Join us for our open house Saturday, March 1st from 1 to 4 p.m. at 4011 Beechwood Avenue in Pine Lawn. And give Yvette a call at 314-269-3391. 314-269-3391 to buy an affordable quality home of your own. Beyond Housing, affordable quality homes.